Hello, my biddies. How are you today? I'm better than yesterday. Thank you to Adam, who told me my mic wasn't turned on. That was joyous. I was halfway into it and I just couldn't. I woke up yesterday, even my eyes felt swollen. It was not good. My allergies are kicking my butt. And the funny thing is, when my allergies are kicking my butt like that, I tend to forget to take the medicine. That will make me feel better. So I will do yesterday's either tomorrow or next week sometime. Um, because I couldn't yesterday. I needed to go grocery shopping, so I did that. I did half of it. I did the other half this morning. Um, so anyway, that's my day so far. Went to Aldi this morning. Forgot to get myself something because I needed a treat. So I got that done before it got too hot. Again, tired of the heat. I have the air conditioning on finally. My husband kind of gave me permission because it's so muggy out. It's not even that muggy out. It's only 61% humidity. I think that's what it said. It said 60 something percent humidity. Where is that? I had to update again. I hate having to update all the time. I thought I had a button that would tell me the weather. Dominant factor is humidity. Humidity. It's only 62%. I mean, we get it like it was 75 the other day in here. I turned on the air just to get the humidity out of the air. 62 is not that high of humidity for where I live. So anyway, the babies are still cute. I think tried to say yesterday that they have their favorite words right now. The little 2-year-olds is even. Even grandma, you get me some yogurt. Even grandpa, you play trains with me. And the other one, the older one is available. That's not available. That will be available later. They're so cute. They're so cute with their little big words. I love little kids like that. They're adorable. Why is it there? Okay. The thing went down. Um, they're so cute when they're little. They like to explain everything. I love that age where they start explaining everything to you. It cracks me up. It makes me laugh. And who doesn't need a laugh? Yes, I'm very tired. I woke up at 5 o'clock this morning, couldn't get back to sleep because it was too hot and too humid. I'm gonna take a nap this afternoon instead of doing what I should do. I can do with the instead of doing my usual afternoon activity of taking notes on another reality TV show. So I had 7 Little Johnsons for you yesterday, which I will do later because I don't want to get behind on bailing out loud because I will probably like not do nice things to myself. I do. I just want to catch up, you know? I want to catch up so that I don't feel so much stress. And we will catch up next week. My husband is going out of town for 5 days. I may be on twice a day. Who knows? I don't know what I'm doing. I might not be on at all. No, I'll be on. I'll be on, I promise. Um, but I'll probably be on tomorrow to do yesterday's show or what I planned for yesterday's show. Might not be at 11:30 or 12, whatever. Whatever time I do this thing. What time do I do this thing? I don't even know anymore. My brain is fried, so forgive me today. But I'm here for you every day that I'm planning on being here for you. I try to be here every day that I plan that I told you I would be here for. It doesn't always work out. Sometimes things happen. I'm not perfect. I hope you don't expect perfection from me because you'll be sorely disappointed. All right. So we do have a reality roundup. It's from Balin Out Loud, season 3, episode 4. Say yes to the stress. So we open where we left off with Balin and Colin telling the family about the venue change. Her parents are actually happy with the change, so that's good. Balin has contacted somebody about wedding dresses, so she wants her mom and Sammy to go to Florida and look at dresses, which Sammy said she would do. Do you think that happens? They want their parents to go refresh their look at the venue. Next, Balin is meeting friends for a workout class. She announces to her friends that they changed the dates and the venue, and her friends are all of the friends are like, "Oh," and she adds that she doesn't have a dress. She does mention that the dress person that she contacted is named Haley Page. So Sammy is not going on the dress shopping trip. Shocker. Is she even going to make it to the wedding? There's more to come. Both of the grandmothers will be there, which is nice. So next they go to the Airlie to look around. And honestly, the grounds look like the surroundings of a European castle. They're gorgeous. The reception space is also amazing. There is not a good place for Colin to come in on a horse. And Julie's like, "Oh, you were coming in on the horse. I thought you were leaving on the horse." He's like, "No, I was arriving on the horse." Which I still think they could make it work, depending. Balin is worried about dress size because I guess she wants a really floofy dress, which is fine if that's what you're into. I mean, mine had hoops. Who am I to judge? I had a hoop skirt for my wedding. Julie says the venue makes her feel important, which is cute. The Reds feel sorry for Shannon, but they hit it off with her. Shannon said that momzillas are worse than breadzillas, and Shannon also complains about the communication. She's thrilled with Balin's mom, so she says they'll be texting for sure. But obviously, communication is the bane of Balin and Colin, working with Balin and Colin. Communication is something that Balin and Colin need to work on. Julie says Balin's factory setting is avoidance. And when she's under stress, she goes to her factory setting. Colin was apparently called Dooley Hips in college, and Julie cannot even deal with this. She just does this weird squeaky laugh on the couch. She can't even talk. And Alan's like, just, he's like, it's ridiculous. Al just wants to come to the tasting, and Colin assures him that he'll be involved even if it's just the dessert part. So then we go to Beckner and his friends playing basketball, and Al joins him. And then he badly plays basketball. Then he goes to talk to Julie. It turns out he has a temporary assignment that he put in for work. And he'll be gone for 90 days to Charleston, South Carolina. They're in West Virginia right now, which really isn't that far. I've done that drive by myself with 3 kids. I went from Michigan to Charleston, South Carolina with 3 kids by myself twice. So West Virginia to South Carolina does not faze me at all. My best friend lived in Charleston, South Carolina for a couple of years. It's very nice there. The howler monkeys at the zoo are hysterical. Highly recommend going to see the howler monkeys at the zoo. He also informs her that he will not be back until a week before the wedding, and there's no vacation time to help. So that's an issue. Although he could easily drive home on weekends. Like, is he working 24/7? No. He could easily drive home Friday night and go back Sunday night. Sammy calls to check in on Balin before she leaves for her dress trip. Um, they're gonna go to her. Balin and her mom are gonna fly. Gonna go visit uh, Sammy after the dress trip so that she can be involved in some of the wedding planning. Balin is, of course, worried about the travel aspect, but the airport is quiet and she doesn't even need disability insurance. Balin says it's a good travel day. And I think some of this might be just her getting used to traveling all the time because she's been traveling a lot more than she used to. And I think everybody has anxiety about airport travel, airline travel, especially if you've not done it before or not done it a lot or not. I've done it by myself. I've done it with a 2-year-old by myself, my husband and I, but this is over 30 years, 28 years. Um, done it with my husband alone many times. But there's been, gaps in between that all the rules changed, like after 9/11, with you had to uh, the TSA got put in, and it's nightmare since then. It's horrible. Used to be able to just go to the airport and get on a plane, and now you cannot. There's all these extra rules because some people were stupid. It ticks me off that everybody gets punished because some people are stupid. And they should have known about that because there were obvious things going on that should have tipped everybody off that something was up. Like the fact that they weren't interested in learning how to land a plane after taking flying lessons. Why would you not want to know how to land a plane when you're taking flying lessons? It's silly. So anyway, that's my diatribe on all that. At least you don't have to take your shoes off anymore. That's nice. That was a pain in the butt. Um, I used to have to travel with 2 different kinds of shoes because I was not sitting down and lacing and unlacing shoes to the airport. That's insanity. So I used to have a slip-on pair and my lace-up pair with me. In last May, I went and I had to take my shoes off. July, I went. I didn't have to take my shoes off. Yeah, I went on 2 trips last year, which is highly unusual for me. I haven't been on one since July. Really want to go somewhere. Be nice to go somewhere. My husband's not being cooperative with that. I gave him all kinds of information to go somewhere in September, and he dropped the ball, and now we can't go because it's too late to travel the way we were planning on. All right, so they meet the grandmas. Lynn Nina is Al's mom, and she is thrilled to go dress shopping because of how far Balin has come in regards to her ticks. I don't think she ever expected to be dress shopping with Balin, and Balin's the only grandchild that ever asked her to go. She said Julie didn't even ask her to go. Julie's like, I went into a shop, I picked out one dress, I tried it on, and I bought it. There was no dress shopping for me. Lynn says she doesn't know how to twerk, and she's going to do it at the wedding. And Candy Mima, which is Julie's mom, says, no, you're not. There was way too much twerk conversation at this dinner they were at. The dress shop is full of very princessy dresses. There's a dress that looks like a mixed flavor of cotton candy. I kid you not. First dress is dark pink. It's not screaming wedding, maybe prom, but Balin looks beautiful in it. It's a really lovely dress. Very floofy. Very, very floofy. She says it's light. I think it's probably taffeta or something. I'll text Julie while they're there that he has a job update, and of course she decides to delay calling him back. And this is the entire episode. The preview show a disturbing conversation with Sammy, and I hope it's not like what it sounded like. But we'll do that next week, I guess. I didn't like the sound of it because I worry that somebody's not doing as much as they need to do to solve their own problems. Next we have Am I Overreacting? Is entitled AIO being weird about saying no several times for not wanting to get in my friend's bed. Tell me I did not mess that up. Tell me I did not mess that up. Uh, I did. I messed up my whole thing. I didn't mess all. I could have messed all of it up though. Maybe it was just that. I don't know. That was the right one. Bear with me. I gotta put a bunch back up. I just got ahead of myself. I don't know why I feel like I've read this one. What did I do? Okay, that's why I thought I read it. I did read it yesterday. Hold on a second. I copied something twice. Just a second. I will figure it out. Okay, what did I do today? Okay, that one's perfect. I did read it, but I read it yesterday, which had no sound. So we get to read it again today instead of next week because it was supposed to be a different one anyway. I told you I'm not perfect. Don't expect it. This is why you're supposed to interact with me. Keep me on track. All right. This is from Am I Overreacting? Entitled AIO Being Weird About Saying No Several Times for Not Wanting to Get in My Friend's Bed. So there are several texts in which he says he invites her over for Saturday night, and then he asks her if she wants to spend the night, and she says, "No, I love my bed too much." He says, "You haven't tested mine even for an episode." And she says, "What?" She says, "An episode of Portlandia." She says, "Well, I won't be hanging out in your bed," which is a very positive no. He says, "That's how I watch shows will be over the covers." She said, "I don't get in bed with people," which is another no. So that's 3 no's so far. "You can have your own blanket. We can put a pillow wall up if you hate me." She said, "I don't hate you. I just think it's weird." And she says, "How?" She says, "No different than a couch. Beds are special to me like mine's a special place, but I can't disconnect it." Another no. He said, "You're special to me and my bed is special to you." And she says, "No." She says, "It's a no from me, dog." So that's 5 times she said no. He says, "Okay, I tried. Sorry. I just need someone to hold when I nap." So now we're not watching TV, we're napping. So what the heck is up with that? She says, "This is making me uncomfortable and now I don't want to hang out." He said, "Sorry, that was not my intention." He says, "As thinking a simple no dice would have been fine." She said no 5 times. 5 times. He says, "To me, sorry if I missed it." Are you obtuse? Are you just dumb? He says, "No, I I didn't think you ever said yes or no." What part of no to no for me, dog, do you not understand? She says, "I said no several times." Um, she quotes, "I won't be hanging out in your bed. I don't get into bed with people. It's just weird. Beds are special to me. I can't disconnect from that. And it's a no for me, dog." He says, "Okay, fair, sorry. Do legit just chill in my bed. Nothing like that." She says, "I'm going to politely exit this conversation." She's way too nice. After he said no the first time, she should have said no. And if he asked again, she should have said no. I said no. I meant no. And the answer is no. You can be mean to people when they're being obtuse like this. He's purposefully not understanding what she's saying. Or he's dumb. She says, "I'm so anxious I literally puked. This guy has been giving me bad vibes. We're friends in college. We drunkenly hooked up once 12 years ago. I moved around the country and came back to my hometown. We found out through Instagram we're in the same city, and we hung out twice since then. My gut instinct went sour last time we hung out. I said how I think I'm asexual and hate sex, and he told me how he's super horny all the time. I wonder how that came up in conversation. I don't know, but my gut told me I'm not safe. I ignored it, and we're going to at his hang out this weekend. And he texted me this at 1 a.m. I said no nicely. Nah, I love my bed too much. I won't be hanging out in your bed. I think it's weird. Beds are special. I can't disconnect. I don't get in bed with people. It's a no for me, dog. Just to be met with a simple no dice would have been fine. I said no several times as nicely as I could. Even once she said explicitly no, which she should have done the second time, honestly. I feel like he just kept pushing it and I kept rejecting. I have an issue with guys not taking no for an answer from being raped by friends in the past. That's really sad. All my red flags are flying, as they should be, because this man is not it. Same thing that's put me in danger in situations before. I blame myself and I tell myself I'm overreacting. I look for the good in people and then sometimes something really bad happens. So now I'm doubting myself. Is this a harmless bedroom hang? No. You should not be hanging with this guy. He doesn't take no for an answer. You should not be putting yourself in situations where you're going to have to tell him, no, I don't want to do that. Because he already said he wants to take a nap with you. That's not hanging out. That's sleeping together. Is this a harmless bedroom hang? Like, why? Why not the couch? Why was the first not enough? Am I being weird? All I know is I'm literally sick to my stomach. If you're sick to your stomach, you're not being weird. Obviously, this guy's giving you huge anxiety issues. Every comment is from Psychoplasm, and they say, this person can't understand being told no multiple times and blames you for not saying no. He's definitely not a safe person. Trust your gut. He thinks boundaries are negotiable. He went from I just watch stuff in bed all the time to I need to hold when I nap. He definitely thinks he can get you cuddling in bed and push for more. Exit the friendship. These are men out here who are capable of being friends without being weird. OP says he's blocked. And then Shit then says, hi, I just wanted to say I'm proud of you for standing your ground and not sugarcoating it to him that you don't want to. I think it's really cool you told him no, that you were uncomfortable without hesitation. That's something I always struggled with, and I want you to know that while reading this made me feel genuinely happy and relieved that you didn't minimize yourself or anything for him, like literally good for you. This is so hard, especially when you have past trauma with gaslighting and manipulating and telling yourself you're overreacting. Sorry you had to deal with this creep. And OP says they needed to hear that. Sad Lab is the second top rate comment, and they say NOR, disconnect from him entirely, scorched earth, you don't know him. Exactly. And the third type rated comment is from Key Instructions, appropriate. She's going to give us some key instructions. She says, this is what happens when you don't teach our children the importance of no, NOR. Soft Taco says, yep, and when you say it nicely, they don't hear it and persist. We have to be mean, and then they say we're being bitchy. Diaz says, the worst part is the getting angry part after saying no. They do what I say because I'm angry. The escalating violence creates a lot of freezing people and knee-jerk passive compliance to all all to avoid upsetting someone. Just stripper thinks his fawn is also fear response to assuage the attacker to ensure safety. Fawn is the new one that they've recognized. It was always there. I wouldn't say they discovered it. But people who ingratiate themselves to their abuser are fawning. If you find yourself anxious, wanting to flee, wanting to freeze, wanting to fawn, um, wanting to fight back, those are all red flags for you. Fight, flee, fawn, freeze. If you do any of those in a confrontation, that means that that person is not a good person. And you should not be near them anymore. This includes spouses, parents, children, etc. Next, we have entitled people, and it's entitled, My sister, whom I'm in no contact with, thinks she's moving into my new apartment and evicting my roommate. Oh, watch how that would go down my house. Yeah, I got something else to drink. Lifesaver's Wild Cherry. It's not as good as the super sour thing I had last week, but it's fine. I think that this, if I remember correctly. Yeah, this is sucralose instead of aspartame, because aspartame does not agree with me. Sucralose is fine. Aspartame, my fingertips go numb after a few days. That's why I only have one Coke a week, and drinking it when we're out. And I prefer like fountain Pepsi because last time I checked, it had sucralose in it too, instead of aspartame. So I can drink the Diet Pepsi if it's a fountain drink, but not the Diet Pepsi I buy in the store. And Diet Coke, I don't think has anything with sucralose. I wish they would you start using more sucralose because the aspartame is really not good. It's really not good. My husband drinks way too much of it. Way, way, way too much of it. All right, I'll start over. Next, we have entitled people. Entitled, my sister, whom I'm no contact with, thinks she's moving into my new apartment and evicting my roommate. She doesn't even talk to her sister. Her sister thinks she's going to move in. Like, what the heck? What is with these people? I really hate this hair right here. It's driving me insane. Why will it not behave? Yes, I have hair issues today. Okay, that helped. It's a lot. Why is it going the wrong way? I don't like this. It's not like looking in a mirror. I did it again. It's not like I need a mirror just so I can look in the mirror instead of the camera. But this one right here, this right here is driving me nuts. There, that's a little better. I love how I look like what's his name? Oscar. If you know who Oscar is. He's a seraphim. If you know, you know. My sisters and I have been at odds for a long time now. Basically, my brother and her and I are all adopted and not bio-related. She was putting a lot of pressure on us to get in contact with our bio families who are weirdos and not related to her at all, and we cut her off for it. It's a long story I won't get into here, but anyway, my sister's the type to go out of her way to hurt you if you don't do everything she says. So what did she do to get back at me? Slept with my, at the time, boyfriend, now ex, of course, and then rubbed it in my face. Cool, cool, cool. Thanks so much, sissy. She sounds like a charm. She inherited something from her bio parents. So here's the part that cracks me up, but also truly pisses me off. My brother and I have cut off parents because they enabled this little demon And basically, my mom's birthday just passed, and my brother and I were nowhere to be found. And especially since Mother's Day is coming up, she's crashing out. Boo-hoo, don't care, sorry. You have your golden child daughter who hates you, so you should be fine anyway. My cousin was at the birthday they had for her, and she said this is what my sister was saying. So I've been planning on getting an apartment with my 3 besties for a while now. We basically just moved in. It's in the city where we grew up, and I'm so excited. Good for you. I'm glad. I'm glad you're excited. I'm glad you're getting out of a situation that does not sound fun. The funny thing is my sister's getting sick of living rent free with my parents in the suburbs, so she's decided that she's going to replace one of my roommates and move in with me and have my parents pay her rent. Mind you, she and I have been on bad terms for months and almost no contact. The last time we spoke, she was showing me pictures of her naked in my boyfriend's bed with him asleep next to her, and she was being nasty AF about it. Well, you dodged a bullet with the boy, for sure. But now she thinks she's moving in with me, girl, huh? Why would she even why would this even be in her brain after doing that? The best part is she has decided that the roommate she wants to replace shouldn't be there because he's a guy. It's going to be a girl's apartment. And then she drops some random homophobia just to top it off. So again, we don't speak to her at all. I hate her. She slept with my boyfriend and gave my insane bio family my contact information. I don't speak to my parents over her BS. But she's decided she's moving in with me because she wants to live in the city. She's also decided my childhood friend gets a boot because he's a guy and she doesn't want to live with the guy, blah, blah, blah. Okay, good luck, girl. Good luck with that. But is there an update? Please tell me there's an update. No update. Dang. There's some other ones, but there's no update. No update on this situation. Uh, Golden Zaftig says, let the landlord and any security building in the building know that she's not welcome. Think committee says, and both roommates as well. It sounds like it was 3 roommates. OP, if that septic dog's pizzle of a boyfriend slept with your sister, you're better off without him. Also worth making sure if anyone holds a spare key for you that they know sis isn't to have it. Yes, exactly. President examination says, how does she even know about the apartment? Tomokata says, OP and her brother apparently haven't gone no contact with everyone in their family, and sis seems to have them as her army of flying monkeys. Someone needs to throw water on her. Evil moron answers, throw water on her is an underrated comment. It has more comments than the one she answered. More votes than votes than the one she answered. Appropriate ad says, now that you know she's planning to do, please contact an attorney to determine what your rights are about having a temporary restraining order to keep her away from you and your apartment. I don't think she's done enough for that yet. Do not wait until she tries to force her way into your life and apartment. She could claim that you invited her there, or that you are evicting her from the apartment. Unfortunately, it's not that easy to get one of those. Mean statistician answers, nah, don't let her in. She's not on the leash. She doesn't have keys. Get a restraining order. Most jurisdictions require an imminent fear of bodily harm with past incidents of violence, harassment, or sexual assault. If she shows up and starts acting crazy, call the police and start a paper trail. Might want to get a doorbell camera, though. And warn your roommate. Source, practicing criminal attorney. And it sounds like she's almost certainly had some kind of diagnosed mental or substance use disorder, dual diagnosis issue. Yeah, I agree with the attorney. Getting you can't just get a restraining order out of the blue, even if you think something's going to happen. That's not how our justice system works. Next, we have Murdered by Words, and is entitled, I've never met anyone successful that smokes weed. Peter Maya says, I've never met anyone successful that smokes weed, not even once. Mr. Peter Frampton answers, "Hi there, my name is Peter." I would say Peter Frampton is successful. I am no one, says Willie Nelson, checking in. Auto Scratch and Sniff says, crap, Barack Obama partook in last I checked, he was very successful. I think he wore a tan suit was his pinnacle of his success. Free says, imagine how successful Obama would have been if he had only smoked and not inhaled like Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton's a liar. I don't have anything against him. No, he's not Trump. So he's not pure evil. He's just a little evil. He just does dumb shit. Mystery Hero says unsuccessful people don't meet successful people in general. Oddly, which says he was already murdered. You didn't need to murder him again. Oh, leave that one there. All right, we're back to Bend National Park 1-star reviews about the balanced rock. This is from Robin in Winnie, Texas. Too much for the view. It's what it's entitled. Do not miss this trail. Do not do this trail in the heat of the day. It is much longer than I thought. I thought in the middle of the desert without much of a view. Where did you think it was? Did you not know it was in the desert? After 3/4 of the way through, you have to hike up steep rocks, and then you finally get there. The balanced rocks is much smaller than you think due to the pictures you have seen. If you go, bring lots of water, or don't go in the middle of summer. Don't go in June. I almost became overheated on this trail, and there's nowhere to get out of the sun. Make sure you wear a hat. I would not recommend for children or elderly. I do not think this trail is worth the time. The road here is extremely bumpy and hard to drive on in a car. Not a fan. We've heard about the road before. Apparently the road's bad, which they need to fix that. If that would be worth a 1-star review, but not the rest of it. Like, you have to do research and know what you're getting into when you go places. Like when my daughter and I missed a boat in New York because she did not account for rush hour traffic, which I would have accounted for, but she was acting pissy. I didn't want to get on her nerves. I didn't want to get on her last nerve. I would have left half an hour before we did. I was ready half an hour before we left. Next, we have Traumatizing Back, and it's entitled That's 02 for Aunt Jenny. So about a year ago, I had a run-in with my husband's uber religious aunt who thinks every couple should have about one kid. Well, it's none of her business how many kids people have. Now, at the time, it wasn't so bad. She still was a decent woman, but other things have happened in her life that makes me think she may have gone into a bit of religious hysteria. The whole family has decided we're not touching it with a 10-foot pole. I'm also not a very heavy and bloated to hell. All of this. I'm also on a very heavy flow right now, and I'm bloated to hell. All of this is important. Anyway, back to the story. So our sister, whom I'm just call Avery, has a nice house that hosts a lot of get-togethers. If you're a Brit, then you know this weekend was peak get-together weather, and so Avery sent out invites for a massive barbecue so we could all enjoy the weather. Nice. Avery sounds like a great person. Me and my hubby get there, and I'm wearing an Empire waist dress that's very flowy, and I start eating, so I look a little pregnant. No biggie, though, because a lot of people in the family know there's no chance of pregnancy with us. There's just a few jokes here and there, but they're harmless. Now, here comes the best part. I've been couch locked. Me and hubby smoked/took edibles before we went in on a lounge chair for some time now. I've also been getting loads of different cocktails shoved in my hands, so I'm very intoxicated. And this time, Aunt Jenny has also given me a few drinks, too. Some other crazy stuff happened, but let's just skip to when me and my hubby are now leaving and saying goodbyes. I give Aunt Jenny hugs and a kiss, and she freezes and pulls away and looks me up and down and starts on a furious tirade about how I shouldn't drink while I'm pregnant and the harm it does to the fetus, blah, blah, blah. She's not pregnant. Why are you going off like this? It's drawing a few scares from other family members, and I just freeze. I have no idea what to do, but already fed up with this aunt. So in my very intoxicated state, I have the greatest fear ever. I start crying really hard. Jenny flusters for a sec and tries to comfort me, but I don't let her go. I muster all the acting skills in the world and just stare down in what I think is heartbreaking face and go, "It's a tumor. We're still waiting to see if it's benign or not." Then I start to wail and I fall into hubby's arms and keep screaming how I don't want to die young. Hubby drags me to the car garage to keep a straight face. Once we get in the car, I let out a final dramatic, "Why me?" before I finally get in and hubby peels out of there. All while Anne is looking to his ashen face like we told her Teddy Jakes just died. Who's Teddy Jakes? I don't know. Does anybody know who Teddy Jakes is? Let me know, either in the chat or in the comments. We drove out of sight before parking to piss ourselves laughing. We laughed the whole way to drive back. We're still laughing about it right now, though I'm sober and a little mortified. Don't be this. That's hysterical. I would love it. Hubby has also renamed the baby food bump from Petunia to Tumera. Update: the fallout has fallen upon me. I've been getting quite a lot of messages and calls from different family members asking if I'm okay. It's a very awkward conversation to have with people I hardly talk to, but well wishes have been so lovely and their reactions have been mixed. Some people think it was hilarious, while others think it was in poor taste, but most people are giving me a break because I was out of it. That being said, I've yet to hear anything from Aunt Jenny, but I'm guessing when she finds out, it's not going to be a pleasant time. Might update if anything good happens. Do we have an update? Please tell me we have an update. Um, no update. Is there a comment update? The Exaspera says, "Ha ha ha ha! I wish I could use this on somebody, but I'm too old." Oh, you still can. They don't know that. They don't know that. Certo Crab says, "Same but different. I wish I could use this, but my plumbing is external." Environmental Fly says, "What do you want about? Old people get tumors all the time." Creeper says, "If it's a boy, it's jaundice. Turmeric is a great name." Corvus says, "Did you play it up like Keegan Michael Key in that movie with John Cena?" Opie says, "I think the black auntie who drapes herself over the coffin wails at funeral." Okay. Somebody, they removed one between the time that I put it up and now. Hold on, it's okay. Oh, I know what happened. I got ahead of myself. That's okay. I know we can find it. Because I found it once, I can find it again. Just, I found it. Found it. All right. This is from What Should I Do? And it's entitled, "My landlord just offered to sell me the apartment I've been renting for 6 years at below market, and my family is pressuring me to say no." Oh, hell no. You buy that even if you don't want it. You buy it below market even if you don't want it, and then you sell it at market. Got the call last Thursday because he's retiring. It doesn't want to deal with selling on the open market. And because I've been a good tenant, he's offering offering it to me first at a price that is genuinely fair and maybe even a little below what it should be. I've always wanted to own my own place, and this feels like the closest I'll get to a realistic shot at it. I told my parents, expecting them to be excited. My mom immediately says the area is going downhill. My uncle started talking about property values like he's been tracking them personally. The neighborhood has changed a bit, new people moving in, a few businesses closed, but I actually like living here and I know the building. The thing is, I don't know if they're seeing something I'm not because I'm too attached to the place or if they're just the way they've always been about that area. And genuinely, I like my neighborhood and all that. It's a pretty solid deal, and I've checked all legalities with my lawyer friend. Operating comment is new study, honey, says get an independent inspector to look at it and then decide. And Tight Ship says as well as a certified resident appraiser for an appraisal. Yes, both of those, just to be on the safe side. I can't read that, says the way I look at it, whether you buy or he sells is somebody else, you're still going to be paying rent or mortgage. Possibly pay a lower mortgage than a new landlord upping the rent price. Then you'll have to find somewhere else. If the apartment is in good condition, the area is in decent area, you don't have to worry about your safety, and the mortgage is set at a good price. Or if you're able to buy it straight out, that's great to go for it. Most of the time, family never has good opinions or advice. Take it from me, my grandfather had an opportunity to invest in Apple before it blew up and he didn't do it. My other grandfather had an opportunity to invest in the John Hancock building. He didn't do it. They all thought they were making good decisions, but they both died broke. Ambitious Ed says, might I say from the bottom of my heart, damn. All right, next up is malicious compliance and entitled Outplayed by a 4-year-old. My 4-year-old son is a bit of a pest. Well, he's 4. That's his job. That's literally his job. Today was master class. He woke up and decided that rage was the answer. Everybody has bad days. He's allowed to have a bad day. Even 4-year-olds are allowed to have a bad day. They're allowed to get up on the wrong side of the bed. I did yesterday and Sunday. So begin a long day of working on my patients. I'm not sure if it qualifies as malicious, but he's constantly testing our rules and looking for workarounds. He's smart. You should be proud. I'll skip the run of the mill stuff and go straight for the end of the day. Keep in mind that by this point, I'm no longer trying to be the best parent. I'm mostly trying to survive until bedtime. Malicious compliance number 1. We ate burgers. He got a snack and a glass of milk. I informed him that he wants anything else will be fruit from the fruit bowl. He proceeds to ask for yogurt, cheese, pasta, more milk for leftovers. He basically lists the contents of the fridge. I did not want to leave him hungry, but I was thinking that if he was really hungry, he would go for fruit and we would reassess. Yes, if he's really hungry, he will take what's offered. He's just trying to play you. I reiterate that he is no longer to eat any food from the fridge. From the kitchen, I start hearing weird crunching noises coming from the living room. I proceed to the living room to investigate. My son looks me in the eye and starts munching on a cat nipple. This doesn't come from the fridge and then starts laughing. The cat food is not going to hurt him. It only hurts your sensibilities, but it's hysterical. I love this kid. Pete and I offered to eat whatever else. I offered him to eat whatever else, but as suspected, he wasn't hungry. At least that expedited the toothbrushing operation for the evening. Example number 2, bedtime is right around the corner. I love him, but it's been a long day and I'm looking forward to spending a bit of time with my newborn after running around with my 4-year-old all day. Last thing he wants to do before bedtime is bedtime pee. I mean, that's what he should be doing. This turns into an argument about which bathroom to use. He changes his mind 30 times before I finally say, I really don't care where you pee, just go pee. It was the wrong choice of words. I go to his room to pick out a book, close the lights. He calls me into the bathroom, Daddy. I walk into the bathroom, I can't see him. It takes me a second to register he's in the bathtub. Confused about what was happening, I asked what he needs. His left foot was a bit damp and he wanted help cleaning up. Yes. Yeah, let's say that towel ended up in the washing machine and we didn't need to flush the toilet. There really wasn't much of a fallout. I laughed a lot and learned that I need to use more precise language from now on. Well, first of all, you should have let him pick what bathroom he wanted in the first place. With kids, you let them make every decision that you could possibly let them make. That way, when you need to make a decision, you can pull from your bank of decisions. Like, you let them choose what to eat for dinner. You let them choose what they want to eat from the fridge. You let them choose what bathroom they want to use. You let them choose the books you're going to read. And then when it's bedtime, you can pull out and you say, you chose this, you chose this, you chose this, you chose that, and now it's bedtime. My choice, you go to bed. And that's how you do that. Vampire Slayer says we call that the mad scientist lawyer stage. It can be very entertaining and joy. Atlas Scrub says my youngest is still in that stage. She's 25. I think she'll be going to law soon. She's going soon. Oh, my 30-year-old is still in that stage. Yes, 4-year-old. Coffee Chocolate Booth says my daughter is 42. She should be a lawyer. OMG. She still asks why, and then has an answer, wrong or not, every damn time. She's cute though. I'm glad you think your daughter's still cute at 42. That's adorable. Retired Night Shift says my son was like that. He said he did his homework. He showed the teacher the homework page at school. There's writing next to each question. All his answers are random and wrong. He said he had to complete the homework. Nobody said the answers had to be correct. Then they go over the homework in class and he had copies and the correct answers as they are discussed. They pass it in and he gets full credit. He's always thought outside the box. He knew how to do the work. He just didn't want to. Um, we'll call him Kat says, I had a parent teacher conference for my daughter when she was in third grade. The teacher was going on about how she needs to show her work on math problems, really emphasizing that. Yeah, this was another thing that my 30-year-old does not like to do. He says, why do I need to show my work when I know the answer? And he always knew the answer. He's very good at it. Still is. Good thing he's a contractor. But yeah, it's like, dude, you have to show your work because you have to tell the teacher. That's how you tell the teacher you know how to do it. She said we had took a test today, and she said she slipped in a fifth grade level math problem just to see how the kids would handle it, and see she didn't show her work. I thought this would be a smackdown for the moment where she would then prove the point why it's important to show the work. She gave a look over at my daughter to show her disapproval. My daughter just replied, but did I get it right? She did and had been getting correct answers for most of her math work. My daughter just decided to call her bluff without hesitation. Just for context, my daughter was definitely not a defiant kid. She was just confident. Mine was a little defiant. I'm not gonna lie. Wonderful Toast, sound like a clever kid. Good luck. You're gonna need it. At least he did it in the bathtub where you can just like rinse him off and then let him go. He didn't do it in the bedroom right after he peed, which is what my 2-year-old grandson will do. Hopefully he'll get that going on the potty soon. He's got the peeing part pretty much down pat, just not the pooping part. Next we have Evil Buildings, and this is in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. We actually have 3 pictures today. Has it been burned? Because it looks a little burny. Looks a little ashy. Charcoaly, I guess. I don't know. Is it evil? What do you think? Let me know in the comments and or in the chat if you're here. If you're here, you're supposed to be participating. Detective Moose says, "Is this Lemony Snicket's beach house?" Lucinda Crimosa says, "Oh yes, Aunt Josephine's beach mansion in the white window, the wide window." Yeah, it looks like a Lemony Snicket thing. Drespent says, "I have some questions about electricity and plumbing." Dreamin says water wheel in the and the hole in the floor. Next question. Madonna's saggy boobs. I'll have to mention that one to my husband. He used to have a picture taken off of MTV of Madonna's underboob because he's a man and that's what boys do. For all the people questioning electricity and plumbing, I grew up in this part of the world. There's not really a sewer system. Almost all the houses in the Outer Banks are septic tanks. There will be pipes coming down from the house, down the pilings and into and under the sand and into the tank. When the beach flooding and erosion happens like this during bad storms repeatedly, the plumbing risks breaking and septic tanks being exposed. For electricity, it depends on the location. Buried power lines are not common. Most is overhead, but there's a few neighborhoods where it's overhead to a point and then buried in the street to the house. My neighborhood is buried power lines. It's wonderful. Nobody on the street loses electricity in the neighborhood. It's all outside of the neighborhood. Until somebody decides to uh, plow up their yard without calling mistake first. Bonus, since this was a house in Knights of Rodanthe, my mother used to work with a woman who was an extra in the movie and helped with some scenes. She said that Richard Gere was humongously pompous. Why does that not surprise me? She was on set and arranging food for some scene, and he walked up and to nibble something. She warned him not to do so, and he just scoffed at her and said, "Do you know who I am?" To which she replied, "Yes, and that food has been sitting out for hours. You will be in the bathroom for the next week if you eat it." He was not amused. Different Acadia says, "Crap, I eat food that's been out for a day and I'm fine. I'm sure old Richard's going to be okay." Depends. You don't know that. Some people have iron stomachs and some people do not. My husband's whole family has iron stomachs because food safety. I'll get sick and he won't. When we had rotavirus, I was in the bathroom all night, both ends. He did not throw up once. Jerk. It's the least he could do is do it once, just for sympathy. You don't think? Next is AITAH, WBTAH for repeatedly telling someone she eats babies. Probably. My partner, 58 male, and I, 41 female, ordered a veal. A friend, 69 female, of his said she wouldn't be having the veal because she doesn't eat babies. After the three of us got our meal, she again announced she doesn't eat veal or lamb because she doesn't eat babies, and then went on to enjoy her chicken. I like the veal, but her remark was untimely to say the least. She visited a few months later for some reason I can't remember. She announced her stance again, even though we weren't having lamb or veal. Later, when my partner said she would be visiting again, I decided to do some research and I discovered chickens are killed younger than lambs and calves for meat. Is that in both in absolute terms and a proportion of their lifespan? That was my question. Is that in proportion or absolute? Lo and behold, an afternoon gathering with various other people at a wedding menu was discussed and she proclaimed, "I don't eat babies yet again." I said, "But you eat chicken." So they're only around 3 weeks old when they're slaughtered for meat. No, they're not. They're fully grown. It's because of how they're bred and fed. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Shut up. I shut up so as not to cause more of a scene. Months go by and she visits again. Who is this? Why are you friends with this person? She's way older than you. And she's not nice. She's weird. Months go by and she visits again. I swear her "I don't eat baby" stance must be core to her identity because I kid you not, she announces again, "I'm seething, but I don't say anything. I can't seem to let this go." She says it in a way that to me comes across as morally superior, like a vegan or a vegetarian can do. Not all of them, but you know the type. Which I could possibly tolerate it if I believed it were true. And that's Here's what I want to do, and would I be an asshole for doing it? Next time she visits, I want to say with authority, you either stop eating chicken or you stop saying you don't eat babies. If you continue to do both, you're a liar. Do you want to end this friendship? Because that would be a good way of doing it. Own interest says, why do you let this insufferable person keep visiting? Hefty Minimum says, I can't believe these people are so wanging old acting like this. And Val Ball says, because no one ate them when they were babies. Intrepid Practice is the second top rated comment, and they say, I don't know, I feel like, please stop talking about my food and I'll stop talking about yours is good enough. Or just shut up about the food already. If you give her the talk about stop talking about my food unless you're stop talking about your eating chicken, it gives her the okay. I mean, she stopped eating chicken, it would then be okay for her to whine about babies. Dragon Dragon Tato says, agree, I think nobody cares is fully sufficient. She doesn't care about accuracy. She wants to feel morally superior. Intrepid Practice again answers, oh yes, the hypocrite part is understood. It's true, you know what, if you make her say it, it doesn't become more true. Deranged but Fun says, can you join us, Deranged but Fun? You sound like you'd be fun. Or just tell her to knock it off already. You've all heard her by now with a deadpan expression like you're over it because you are. She's being childish. Yes. Next, we have Neighbors from Hell, and is entitled, Neighbor Keeps Ringing Our Bell for Her Parent Parcels at All Hours. Refused to have a civil conversation. How can I handle this? Moved into a house converted into multiple independent flats. One of the flats is at the back of the building with a separate entrance. Someone moved in there a few months ago, and ever since her parcels keep getting delivered to our side/front entrance instead of hers. The people in the building are generally really nice, and usually if parcels are left outside, whoever sees them just places them safely inside for the correct flat to gather later. Previously, someone else lived in that black flat, and when their mail accidentally came to us, they rang once, we explained the setup, and the issue basically stopped. This new tenant had made it a constant thing. At first, we didn't mind opening the door for her, but it's become excessive. She started incessantly ringing our bell at 7:30 a.m. for parcels. My fiance works nights and some days and was sleeping, and then apparently rang around noon again, and after 3 p.m., I came home from work. I mean, if they don't answer the first time, just leave the thing there. Jeez. I finally went downstairs and politely told her we'd appreciate her not ringing our bell repeatedly because my fiance is asleep and she should go into look into fixing her dress maybe so that it doesn't get delivered to the front end of the house. For context, underneath our doorbell, we've literally written not to ring unless it involves our flat because random delivery and people constantly pressing has become disruptive. She just stared at me and said, if my parcel is delivered here, I will continue ringing your doorbell. I can't help it. Why? Then she barged past me into the building, grabbed her parcel, and walked off. We generally were more accommodating before. It's become increasingly difficult because it happens so often at unreasonable hours. So tell the landlord. How do I deal with this? Speak to the landlord management because the interaction, she refuses to have a civil conversation, or is there a better way to handle it without escalating things? And I live in a house with multiple units. I'm not the one bringing her parcels in at all. All the other unit owners do. As a kind gesture, she has 6+ months to fix her address, but she refuses to. We had a neighbor who somehow had our address attached to her credit card. So her Uber Eats and her Walmart deliveries would come to our house. We just kindly tell them where she lived. It's like, that's not our house. That person lives over there. It's just like 3 or 4 houses down. She was home alone a lot. Her husband went out of town for business. So I understand that she was ordering stuff to eat and stuff. She's working from home. Perfectly understandable. I'm not dissing her on that. But I swear I was going to keep the next the next Applebee's that she ordered. It was that bad. It was like almost every day. Like Uber Eats, UPS, FedEx, everybody was sending something all to our house. Now I put my own address on, and FedEx will still give it to the neighbors, which is annoying, super annoying. I love hot dogs and bacon. Says the next time you ring my bell at 7:30 a.m., I will ring yours at 3 a.m. Silly manager says get your partner to do it on the way/way back from shift work. Opie says I've been telling him about these ideas and he seems to be on board with it. Multipocalypse says at that point I'd inform her that if she can't correct the delivery issue on her own end and also insist on harassing you for something she has the ability to fix, you're going to start correctly, marking her packages as not at this address and sending them back. Someone gave her a helpful hands award. Several honeys as a third temporary comment. They say to unhook the doorbell. Sign that says no trespassing and instructions how to special delivery accommodations on Amazon with pictures. I like the one where you just say they're not here. They're not here. Send it back. That will put her in her place. I've done that at businesses because business people were using the business address as their personal address for like state assistance that they were getting. Like, this is not your house. You don't live here. They didn't work there either, just for the record. Next, we have Found Satan, and it says, thanks, Satan. That'd be a sign. Could be one of our sign ones. Push to open. If that does not work, pull. If both do not work, try the actual entrance to your left. All the way I would struggle. I'm terrible with that. Lex Glistening says the last sentence could use a smaller font. Cloud Bouquet says the person who printed this definitely sits by the window watching people struggle all day, which would be entertaining, I'm not gonna lie. Clerical Rogue says this is the exact sign that would tick me into looking like the idiot that I am. Next we had Just No Mill and is entitled NC Mill Panicking After Finding Out About Pregnancy. Brief context. Husband cut mother-in-law and father-in-law off for myself and our kids last year. Following years of mother-in-law's insanity, husband remains very, 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 very low contact. I considered keeping a secret, but ultimately decided I don't want to hide an entire pregnancy just because of Mel. My husband and I had photos taken and used them to announce pregnancy via social media. We posted as collab. I have my in-laws blocked on everywhere, so I assumed they'd see the post on husband's page. What I didn't realize was that because I was the original poster, anyone I blocked cannot see it. Apparently, Mill was with Phil and his mother when Mill's friend texted to congratulate her on becoming a grandma again. Mill was obviously clueless. Phil's mom, who follows me, pulled up her own account and showed them my post, and that's how they found out. Mill was apparently so distraught she canceled plans and went home. Father-in-law called husband, and all I heard was Phil upset, asking why husband didn't tell him, and husband said, why would I? You know the exact situation here. Husband took the call outside, and I didn't hear what else Phil said, but later in the evening, I was using husband's home for directions, and a text from Phil popped up that read, you should think about this. Your mother is hurting. Yes, she's made a mistake like all people. I gave him his phone back and continued pipping notifications from Phil. There are two things I really want to say here. I know mother-in-law will never change, and I know her having zero access to me and my kids is the best decision, but I'm always so blown away with the lack of awareness. After everything she's said and done to me, she still thinks she's entitled to my pregnancy and my unborn child. Excuse me. I think making it known that she views me as a baby-trapping, worthless, gold-digging mistake would still not come out of with the expectation of front row seats to any future pregnancies. My first two kids are girls. My first child, mother-in-law, absolutely crap crazy. and constantly talked about her baby and how she was finally getting her daughter. This is a baby boy, and I can't help but feel like mother-in-law will go that crap crazy 1,000 times because husband was always her favorite and the youngest and the one she most meshed with. I feel like in her sick mind, husband is my son is husband all over again, and that's the real reason she's so frantic. Prestigious Death says, "Father-in-law, which mistakes are you referring to?" Chippy Alley says, "I caught years of hell because I simply wasn't the person she decided her son would marry before either child even existed. The family didn't get involved with women's stuff until there was a male child. Oh boy, did they suddenly get involved now. They have breathtaking levels of self-delusion. It's all sorted better and better for that now for them. They want to move on. Well, that's how it works, right?" Megadeth Stardust says, "Oh well, sucks to suck and be her." Mother-in-law's not gonna get that grandson because she can't behave. It's not that hard. This next is petty revenge, and it says, "Won't speak to me. Enjoy the silence." Sounds fine to me. Kind of like it quiet. I kept turning on the TV last night. My husband goes, "Why are you turning the TV down?" I'm like, "Because it's too loud." He's like, "Are you trying to put me to sleep?" And then he proceeded to take a 1.5 hour nap. Like, the TV was not going to keep him awake. It was not. No matter what the volume, he was not going to be awake. And my ears hurt. My brain hurt. Remember, yesterday was not a good day? All right, I'm going to start over. Like I say, petty revenge. Won't speak to me, enjoy the silence. I once worked nights at a toxic place, UK supermarket food store. I was told I had to come in at least half an hour earlier than clocking in time and stay back half an hour after clocking off. That's illegal. All unpaid. That seems illegal. That would be illegal where I live. No one liked me, no social interaction from anyone as they'd already formed their little cliques. And I was always given the worst tasks. I was looked down upon because I questioned the extra working policy. Everyone was miserable, so why shouldn't I be? Anyway, after the store closing and during cleanup restocking, someone decided to bring a Bluetooth speaker and they were allowed to play music to lift spirits and help the tedium pass. My next deployment was starting the next week, and I just planned on walking out and not letting them know of my intentions. The music did seem to lift spirits a bit, but then I put my evil plan in place. I got a friend to call the store manager about 1 a.m. to complain, saying he lived in one of the houses opposite and the music he could hear was keeping him awake and he couldn't sleep, even describing the songs he heard that I had told him. The manager came down, relayed the complaint, and told the staff that the music has to be turned off. It was turned down, had to be turned down, not off. It was turned down. The music was now at a level that was barely audible. My friend called again, complaining about the booming bass and couldn't sleep, and could still hear artist names I texted him, threatening head office and police, etc. Manager came down, banning the radio. My last couple of shifts now in silence. Misery restored. Errol Dell says, "For future reference, when you're told to show up early and stay late unpaid, get in and print and take it to the labor board." Yes, 100%. Hey, have a great day. Answers, hey, OP, if you already have it in writing, it can still go to the labor board. I'm not 100% on how it works in the UK, but it's worth checking out. And I know that people were working off the clock where I used to work, and it was dumb. Like, don't work off the clock. Your work is not that important. If it was, they would pay you to do it. Poison Plus, she says, quick Google search says that companies will be forced to pay errors, fined, and more strictly monitored in the future. And are named and shamed. The government publishes a list of companies that commit violations like this fairly regularly. Good for you, UK. Check out the information on that site and file a complaint. At bare minimum, you'll get a nice chunk of change out of it. An hour a day for however long you work there, on average 21 hours a month at overtime rates, assuming a 5-day week. Nice. That would be a nice chunk of change. Jimmy, where are you? Is the second time very comment, and they say, "You'd have better reporting the company for wage theft. Working an extra hour unpaid is illegal as your wages should drop below the minimum wage. If you worked 5 shifts, that's 5 hours unpaid labor. No wonder they were all miserable. Slight Book says, for real, that unpaid hour every shift adds up. No wonder everyone there was miserable. Pure Ninja says, not clocked in, not there working. 100%. Next, we have expectation versus reality, and it says peach-shaped bao bun something, and they were delicious. So here's the expectation. It's a red bean bun peach shape. Sounds like it's delicious. Sounds delicious. What did they get? Those look more like really bad boobs. To be honest, this is, if it's Japan, they would have to give you your money back for that. They would have to give you your money back because Japan is very strict on the package better match the product. It's just a bunch of movements. No, Jellyfish says, that was not what I expected. Should I face killer so let's keep us abreast of the situation? Okay, Crypto versus Bale boobs. Bale bees. It's because they're bale balls. I bought some this morning, as a matter of fact. Not those kind, not peach-shaped. They were normal bale balls shaped. They're not going to be as good as I want them to be. Because I had homemade actual Chinese from China person. So I know what they're supposed to taste like. I don't expect these to be anywhere near as good. I got to eat both of them because my partner didn't come into work. Gave us 2, 1 for each of us. And my partner did not come into work the next day, even though I saved it for her. So I got to eat both of them. They were delicious. All right. So I try to go on 3 times a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, noon Tuesday and Thursday, and 11:30 on Wednesday. I change that up every once in a while, depending on the weather and my mood. Excuse me, because this is a hobby, not a job, so I don't have to. But I am trying to build a community for people to lift their spirits, so come and join us. Next, we have our real estate section. And tomorrow, if I'm on tomorrow, whenever I'm on next, I plan to show you Josh Brogan's house. Josh Brolin's house. Because it's up for sale in Georgia. And he just dropped the price on it. It is, this is entitled, Oh Man, I Want It. It's cute. I love it. Look at this. How cute is that? I want it. You can't have it because I want it. All right, I did not hit the right thing. Hold on just a second. It's in Callicoon Center, New York. It's $1,195,000. $1,195,000. Don't listen to what I say. 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 30,000 square, about a little less than 30,000 square feet. It's so cute. I love it so much. Oh my goodness, it's beautiful. I mean, it's my windows to shame, that's for sure. Lovely fireplace in the middle. You can save up all your firewood from the grounds for the whole summer and have it all winter. I love the porch. I have a good porch, especially wraparound. Nice. Low lights and highlights. I crack myself up. I really do. I don't like the stairway. I just see that as a disaster waiting to happen. Mostly me. The windows actually open, it looks like. Looks like those windows actually open, at least the one set of them does. It's a very open floor plan. And yet there's some separation because of the giant fireplace area. Plenty of kitchen space. I like it. This mimics it's appropriate because it mimics the stairwell. Okay, I do not need to see, I do not need to have people looking inside my refrigerator. It is not a place you want to look at. I'm not that organized. Ever. Nice, 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 nice. Decent bathroom. Nothing wrong with it. I don't have a problem with that green. It's not atrocious. I don't like the open stair steps. Just a me thing. I'm afraid I'll fall through. Or a little kid will. Oh, that's cute. I love that. That's adorable. Very small closet though. Nothing wrong with this either. This is reminiscent of the other bathroom, only it's brown, not green. Ooh, that looks like a tropical paradise. Nice. Lovely area. You can even put a toilet in here because it's set up for that. Why didn't they finish that? That's weird. It's $1 million house. Like, come on, finish the house. Oh my goodness. It's way out in the middle of nowhere. I love that porch. Okay, don't be looking in my windows. It's a beautiful yard. It's the perfect house for that area because there's so much outside you want all outside in. Little raised garden here. Looks like they haven't used that in a while. Look at where your neighbors are. They're all the way over there. Lost my mouse. Okay, 3 bedroom, 3 baths. Built in 2004. It's on 40 acres. So you do not have neighbors. That's why it costs so much because it's on 40 freaking acres. Custom built with Californian and Japanese influences. Scale is grand yet warm yet. Radiant heated blue stone floors, which are nice. Wood in the stone is sourced from the property. That's cool. So they look like they belong. Has a wolf range sub-zero refrigerator, galvanized steam oven. I don't know what that is. And I'm kind of a cooker. A walk-in pantry and a pizza oven built into the fireplace. That's cool. I would probably never use it, but it's cool. The main level includes a serene primary suite, while the upstairs has two additional bedrooms with stunning views, one traditional Hinoki soaking tub. That's what that was. The suspended balcony overlooks the living space. Um, has towel warmers. Those were towel warmers. I want one. Dedicated kettle burner and two sinks in the kitchen. A dumbwaiter for the garage to the pantry. What? Oh, for your groceries. That's a good idea. It's actually an excellent idea. I would love that. Except that wouldn't ever work. My pantry's on the other side of the house. Callicoon Center is central to so many great destination towns, with Callicoon, Livingston Manor, Roscoe, North Branch, and Jefferson only 10 to 20 minutes away. That's cool. 3 full bathrooms. Heating is a heat pump, oil, and radiant floor. You get a cooktop, dishwasher, dryer, oven, range, refrigerator, stainless steel appliances, washer, oil, water heater. Ew. I would switch that to electric in no time. I'm just going to up your electricity because it's also the heating element. Because the water heater in that house, the radiant floors use hot water heat. There's a whole laundry room. First floor bedroom has a full bath, a bidet. I want that too. A breakfast bar, chef's kitchen, eating kitchen, central. You know what they didn't have? It was a separate dining area. High ceilings, high speed internet. Yes, cool. We could still do our show from there, couldn't we, girls and guys? There are some guy biddies. It's fine. Kitchen island, marble counters, open floor plan, open kitchen, primary bedroom, soaking tub, and storage. It has an unfinished basement with walkout access. They didn't even show that. What are the taxes? We always check the taxes. $17,391 for taxes per year. Can you afford that? Because I cannot. Echo Child says, holy moly, I'm speechless. I love everything about this, but my brain is just in awe. I love it too. I love this one. The kitchen, the arched ceilings, the woodwork, these windows, so many windows, but somehow it doesn't feel like you're too exposed because there's so many around you. Not sure how they pulled that off. So much light and insane central fireplace and the exterior. I have a lot of windows. I don't feel very exposed because I have no neighbor. I pretend I don't have neighbors because I'm treed all the way around. So I don't see the neighbors. I have neighbors way closer than that house because I only have 3 acres. But I can pretend I don't because there's so many trees, especially in the summertime. I want this house so bad. I'll just garden and read books in my awesome porch with piping hot coffee and a blankie, watching the morning mist burn off, or enjoy a rain shower with smell of wood fire wafting from the chimney. Lasai. Well, Jenny said they did an incredible job designing a house that is both modern and timeless and fits into its location perfectly. I would just buy casement windows everywhere. It looked like it had some casement windows. Second time, top right, it comments from Lux that says, being poor sure sucks. Eighth Dynasty says being poor is expensive. That is not a lie. Being poor is very expensive. I read nickel and dimed. Dr. McFacekick says, that is one of the most incredible houses I've seen on here. I absolutely would retire to that house. I love the windows and the huge porch. Also, that's the strangest kitchen layout I've ever seen. 3 sinks at least and split gas range with no range hood is a very odd decision. I can see where if you had the money for this house, you might want something more updated and contemporary. So maybe that's why they're having a hard time selling it. I would take a particular kind of person to buy it, especially since with all that, I would imagine there's some updating slash fixing that needs to be done. Into the Stream says, I know Orthodox Jews have to have separate areas for preparing and cooking dairy versus meat or something, which can result in separate stoves, sinks, fridges. An Orthodox kitchen is really specific setup. Maybe something like that is happening here. Also, dishwasher. They have separate dishwashers. I had a guy, I was working with a Jewish guy once, and he said something about his dad being Jewish, and I said something about how Jewish his dad was, and I said, "So kosher Jewish, but not too dishwasher kosher?" And he looked at me, he goes, "How do you know about that?" I'm not dumb. I read. Also, I stayed in an Orthodox, Hasidic Jewish. Um, I swear this one was on here. What the heck? I have to look up another one that got deleted by Reddit's filters, but sometimes we can find those again. So let's try, otherwise we'll have to go back and get a new one. I usually do this beforehand, but I didn't catch these for some reason. Yeah, we did find it. Even Reddit filters cannot deter me. All right, this is from Am I the Jerk? And it's entitled AITJ for ruining a funny moment after my husband embarrassed me in front of everyone. No, because your husband should not be embarrassing you like that. My husband, 33 male, loves to be the funny guy in our friend group. Most of the time, I, 30 female, laugh along, but lately his jokes have started to feel more personal and humiliating. He's always saying I'm too sensitive whenever I bring it up. No, you're not. You're not. He's just being a jerk. Last week we had friends over for a barbecue. Everyone was drinking, laughing, and hanging out when my husband suddenly grabbed my phone off the table and started reading old texts out loud to everyone. Mostly embarrassing typos and cringy message I sent him years ago. Everyone was laughing while I just sat there feeling humiliated. I quietly asked him to stop twice, but he kept going because he thought it was hilarious. So I finally snapped and told him that if he wanted to make someone a joke, he could explain to everyone why he got fired from his last job for showing up drunk. The whole mood instantly died. He got really quiet, and our friends got uncomfortable, and people started to leave not long after. Now he's furious at me, saying I ruined the night and purposely embarrassed him over a harmless joke. A couple of friends think I overreacted, but others said that he pushed it too far at first. AITJ, no, you're not the jerk. Top right comment from um, Wendy Weedy Garden says, ever notice how many people cannot take what they give? Husband doesn't want to feel embarrassed. He can stop humiliating others for entertainment. Necessary tap answers, you're too sensitive. Translation, I don't give a crap about your feelings because you're just a prop I used to get to attention and make me popular. Yep. Ansley Reception says, I don't know how your marriage will survive his BS without a lot of therapy and work. He needs to stop this crap. You're not too sensitive. He's too insensitive. You asked him to stop multiple times. It was not a harmless joke. Your feelings matter. No Ingenuity says, and texts are often personal unless they're sharing an actual joke. Sorry, he sounds like an a-hole. Mei Lee is the third top rate comment. She says, he deserved it. He is TAH. Honestly, I'm glad you gave him a taste of his own medicine. Edit, thank you, anyone. I really didn't expect this to blow up. She got almost 1,000 upvotes. He sounds like awful. He sounds awful, to be honest. If your spouse doesn't care about your feelings, they shouldn't be your spouse. Because your spouse should care about your feelings. This is a signs of the story and is from Wendy's, apparently. We have short staff. Please be patient with the staff that did show up. There's a demon in the fridge and no one wants to work anymore. People want to work, they just don't want to be slaves. They want to be able to work to afford things, not just work to live. Why is there a demon in the fridge? Pearl Sponge says, so the demon isn't pulling his weight. Eric's Works memes says, it's so hard to summon good help these days. God of Some World says, answers, the quality of souls isn't great these days. Do technology answers, you get the same amount of demon per soul no matter what. The problem with all these apprentices are writing their infernal contracts with Scribe GPT, and that thing gets most of its training arcana from the spellcasting circle jerk suborbs. If you're going to take shortcuts, at least bind an ancient spirit of knowledge into a skull, or find a sentient grimoire bound in the skin of a presumably dead witch's enemy so you can get some quality spell templates made. That's top tier. I did not know what most of that meant. It was top tier. There's a meme from The Office where Michael just says, what? And OP says, you don't have a demon at your work? I thought everybody did. Awkward. For the Masons, no one wants to work for crap wages anymore. Exactly. Young Goblin says, crap wages, crap shifts, and unaffordable benefits. Super Delicate says, crap wages, crap schedules, crap companies, crap bosses, and crap benefits. Why doesn't anyone want to work anymore? Triple T says, don't forget demons in the walk-in. Yeah, people don't want to work for crap. Literally, everything's crap. I was at McDonald's last week. I may have told you. It took me half an hour to get a burger. All I asked for was bacon cheeseburger. That's it. A bacon quarter pounder. They sent me a double quarter pounder with cheese. They sent me a double bacon quarter pounder, which I did not want. But if I had known it was going to be half an hour before I got my actual food, I would have taken it because it is an upgrade. But I didn't want to take somebody else's food, because then they would have gotten a downgrade, and that's not fair to them. I tried to be really nice about it because they looked overwhelmed. They looked horribly overwhelmed. I should contact the guy who works the drive-through there because I know him and ask him what was going on. What the heck was going on? Next we have confession is entitled, I unplugged a loud ice making machine next to my hotel room and put a fake out of order sign on it. I don't see a problem with that. After a long drive, I got the last available room on the 3rd floor. Unfortunately, the only working ice machine was on the other side of the wall behind my bed. Don't ever do this. You can put the bed the other way. You can plan the room better. Every few minutes, a rumbling would wake me up. After hours of frustration, I stepped into the hallway and saw a line of families, kids constantly using it. Once the hallway cleared, I unplugged the machine and hung an out of order sign on it. I took off the snack machine next to it. Maybe not my proudest moment, but I finally got a few hours of sleep. The next morning, while checking out, I heard several guests ask where they could get ice. The front desk kept apologizing and saying all the ice machines were down. I felt a little guilty, but after being awake all night, I figured warm drinks weren't the end of the world. Electronic says things would probably have been okay if you had surreptitiously unplugged it and then the next morning, plugged it in the next morning and removed the sign. Yeah, exactly. Cutie Dream says, yeah, unplugging it for one night after being kept awake is understandable, but leaving it that way the next day I pushed it from harmless revenge into causing problems for everyone else. Confident Chipmunk says, post is suspect to me. A line of families constantly using it in the middle of the night when you're trying to sleep. Nina says, also, in my experience, ice machines are simply not that loud. It'd be more disturbed by the line of people in the hallway than the white noise from the refrigeration unit. Miriam Sand says, we had one at work in a lab that got super loud at the end of its life cycle. So not only really bad if you're actually in the same room, maybe the walls are just paper. Possible. Things can get loud, even if you've never heard it before yourself. Things can get loud. Min Groven says, should have plugged it back in the morning. Yes. Baller for Hire says, no, I think probably needs cleaned out now that any existing ice had melted. If OP plugged it in now, all the water would freeze up into a big block. Real Poison Plant says, I don't know from that model, but the one I had would drain the water you left in and it melting. Yeah. I don't know. Other people are saying mold and mildew would build up in it after that short of a time. I don't know if that's true. This is interesting AF. Photo taken while phone was shutting off from a low battery. Oh, this is wild. I had no idea this was even possible. That's really wild. That is interesting AF. Their temporary comment is from Fluid Tone. The other ones were memes. There is a giant turkey in my yard right now, walking past my window. It's a giant turkey. It's dinner. Isn't there a holiday coming up? It's giant. Fluid Tone says this may be an interruption of file write. If his phone shut off while taking and getting the image from the camera, it would not have saved at all. So most likely the photo was taken fine and it was being stored as a file phone when the phone died. They did not use extra words. It's terrible. And then they go to explain how it's done, and nobody cares about that. You're not fun at parties. Actually, I really appreciate it, but I'm just not going to say it all. Next, we have Am I the A-hole? Is entitled AITA for not letting my friend use the photographer she refused to hire with me. My 28 female just graduated with my PhD in the US. Congratulations. That's awesome. I'm an international student and my family couldn't afford to fly in, so I was alone. Oh, that's heartbreaking. Months ago, I asked my best friend / roommate, Elena, who was also graduating, to split a photographer. She said it was a waste of money, and I even asked her if her family could take a few pics of me on their phone. She said no, because I'd be too busy focusing on her. Elena sounds like a jerk. Like, how entitled and selfish are you, really? At graduation, a rep from my country's consulate came to congratulate me and asked me if I needed anything. I asked for a couple of photos on my phone for my parents. He ended up calling their official media photographer who came and took photos and videos of me. That's awesome. This is like real karma. Eleanor was here and ran over and asked if I could also film her walking on stage and do a full photo shoot of her with her parents, friend, and advisor. I told her she could ask him, but I wasn't comfortable asking because I didn't hire him. He's an employee of the consulate, and he was there for official reasons. She called me selfish and stormed off. And that isn't the pot calling the kettle black. And later texted me uninviting me from the graduation party we'd planned for weeks, saying I ruined her day and she's not comfortable seeing me. Oh my goodness. I can't even with this girl. Lactating Almond says, is that where almond milk comes from? Oh, I've lost it. Lactating Almonds says, NTA, Elena is not your friend. She's treating you poorly. Black Widow answers, I wish I had unlimited upvotes for this comment. Yes, exactly. Second top rated comment is from Crabbiest ASP. And they say, NTA, she would not even give you the bare minimum and ask one of her family members to take a phone photo. So why would you stick your neck out and ask someone you didn't even hire to take photos of her? She just got the craps because you ended up better than her. Congratulations on graduating. That's so great. Usefully useless says, NTA, congratulations on getting minted. It's cool that someone from the consulate came to congratulate you. Yes, I love that for her. And generous of them to provide you with the photographer. You've done nothing wrong. You weren't even being selfish. It's not like you prevented her from asking him to take the photos. Exactly. You could ask him. I'm not going to ask him for you. You can ask him if he wants to do that. And it's up to him. He's the one with the fancy cameras. Next we have overheard and is entitled All Men Are Good At. I overheard my friend talking to our Uber driver friend. I didn't know she was trans until halfway through the date. Driver, how did you find out? Friend, she decided to tell me. Driver, what did you say? Friend, I felt like she should have disclosed that information before we agreed to go on a date because then I could have informed her in advance that I'm not into trans women. I made it clear that I had nothing against trans people, but when it comes to people I'm romantically interested, then my preference is, I don't know, like non-trans people. Cis women, bro. Friend, yeah, that. Driver, do you know if she fully transitioned? Friend, she still had a dick, but dude, fantastic boobs. Driver, sounds like you're still attracted to her. Friend, did you not hear me say she had a dick? Driver, so do you, bro. I'm sure you used it. You're used to playing with your penis, so why not play with someone else's penis for a change? All men are good at hand jobs, bro. Both my friend and the driver burst out laughing. Green flags for this ally driver. Green flags for this ally driver. He's awesome. That is so cool. I mean, you don't have to be into trans people. It's fine. Everybody has their things. There are poly people for that. Polyamorous people, not polyamorous. What is it called when you don't care? It's poly, right? Am I wrong? I might be wrong. I can't remember. I know there's a word for it. Another Russian spy says, cake is a cake, even with a candle. A piece of spoil the candle, bro. Flynn says, LOL, I'd like to know how the conversation started. And OP says, my friend asked the Uber driver how his evening was going. And the driver says it's been a slow night because he only had one passenger, which was a guy who apparently complained that a date went wrong. That information prompted my friend to share his own date gone wrong story. Flynn asks, have you heard the story already? And OP says, yes. If he tells the story when he's drunk, then the trans girl kissed him at the end of their date. And he allowed it despite his I'm not into trans women speech. But whenever sober tells the story, then the date came to an end with an awkward hug. He says, I think they wanged in my mind. Lord, Lord. I'm putting my own ending on my friend's story. That's how rumors get started, by the way. 1, 2, 3, ABCDE 3, 2, 1 says, just the story needed today. Complete and utter rationalization. I don't know. Maybe he'll change his mind about her. Maybe he'll change his mind about her. She might not have a dick forever. I'm just saying. Lots of trans people don't get bottom surgery. It's expensive. And ouchy. I would think it would be ouchy. I've had, stuff happen down there because I've had 3 kids. It's ouchy. And that's stuff that's supposed to happen to you. Next we have Draw on My Chest. And it is entitled, I Got Secret Terrible Revenge on a Lunch Thief. Ooh, yes. I'm 50 female. When I was 19, I worked at a small pet store. One coworker, we'll call her Tara, 24 female, was known as the lunch thief And despite having a boyfriend, was sleeping with the manager, so she never got in trouble for anything she did wrong. She's also just a terrible, toxic person to be around, and all of us truly hated her. I'd had enough of her shenanigans because she was costing me and other coworkers money we couldn't afford to lose because she felt entitled to whatever we had. She never worked on Fridays, but always came in to wait to pay and in to wait for her paycheck to come in the mail, so I devised a plan. One Thursday, I picked up Chinese food at a place in the same plaza as the pet store. A small chicken finger and a large pork fried rice. I ate a little of each and placed the containers under the front seat of my car and closed it up. It was July, so the next day I came in with the containers still warm and smelling strongly of Chinese food, but not yet smelling bad. I put them in the break room fridge where Tara and her boyfriend were lingering waiting for her check. They watched me put the pricey delicacies into the fridge, and I walked out feeling pretty confident they were going to pig out as soon as I started diving into unpacking the weekly delivery. An hour or so later, they left with the check in hand, and I made my way straight to the fridge where I saw one chicken finger and like 3 bites of fried rice left. I tossed it in the trash and went back to work. I didn't have to see her for a week and a half. It was glorious to be shed of her for a while. I got to pick up some more hours because she and her boyfriend had food poisoning. She didn't steal lunches anymore, though I suspect it was more about being concerned about somebody else's food might be bad and not that she thinks I did it on purpose. After all, I only ate a little bit and they ate almost the whole thing. As an adult with a fully formed frontal lobe, I would never do this again, but I also struggled to find empathy for her, even in hindsight. Anyway, that is my confession, and possibly one of the worst things I did to somebody else. And they'll probably never eat Chinese food again. Apple Pie Bailey's says that if that's the worst thing you've ever done in your life, hon, you're sure levitating above me, that's for sure. I bet your halo is heavy too. Darling, you're an angel and a funny one too. BTC says, nice. Hopefully they shat themselves. I hope so. Especially with being sick like that, it's easy to do. I think it's a fart. It ain't. OP says, it's coming out of me like lava. JC Marcel says, joke's on her. That's what you get for eating somebody else's crap. I completely condone this. It's like having a box that explodes as soon as you open it, delivered to your house and packaged to steal it. Maybe they shouldn't open crap that ain't theirs. Yes, exactly. And of course, somebody has to accuse it of being AI. Who cares? Who cares? It's a good story. That's what we're here for, is a good story, some fun times, and some healthy adult interaction. I don't know, adult and teenager interaction. Teenagers are welcome here. It's better that they be here and learn some lessons on life than to be like flapping in the wind, like so many teenagers have to do because their parents don't teach them crap. Next is What Do I Do? Entitled, I think being slowly unloved by someone is worse than being cheated on. And there is a text, just like one person's text. You need to stop. I don't add to my stress right now. I'm working extra shifts. I don't have time. I'm not worried about you. I'm focused on myself and my kids. I don't have to see you. I also don't want to. The sooner you accept that, the better. You don't do anything for me or add to my life in any way. You do the opposite. I'm not having that in my life going forward. What did you do? What do? You leave that person alone. Nobody talks enough about what it does to be a person when somebody slowly stops loving you while still keeping access to you. I swear this crap has destroyed me mentally. For almost a year, I got trapped in this cycle where every time I finally started to accept something she didn't really want me to anymore, she'd come back just enough to pull me back in emotionally. A text or call telling me she missed me, telling me she loved me, acting soft again, making me feel safe again. And every single time I believed it because I loved her for real. And then the second time I got emotionally comfortable with it, which switched light back to distance. Cold replies, dry energy, acting overwhelmed by me, acting loving her is too hard for some kind of crime. Sir, dude, stop it. Stop doing this to yourself. You deserve better. She's just toying with you and you know it. Stop it. Tonight she finally told me she doesn't want me in her life anymore. I genuinely think it's something in me snapped. I'm sitting here drunk, shaking, heart pounding, and rereading old messages from someone who already emotionally left me months ago while I was still trying to save us. I'm sorry that happens sometimes. I'm glad you're finally realizing it. This is what people don't understand about push and pull relationships. One person gets slowly detached while the other one gets addicted to the moments where things feel normal again. You start living for those little moments. You shouldn't be. Don't let people treat you like this. One good phone call can keep you holding on for another month. One I miss you resets all the pain. One conversation makes you think that the love is still there. Dude, get some go see a therapist. Stop doing this to yourself. A therapist will point that out to you that this is a silly cycle. Meanwhile, they're always halfway gone emotionally. I know people are going to call me dramatic or weak or tell me to just move on, but I swear this kind of crap changes the way you see yourself, especially when you already struggle with abandonment issues and feel like nobody ever fully stays. The crazy part is I don't even hate her. I just wish you would let me go fully instead of reopening the wound every time I start to heal. I haven't stopped crying and shaking all night. Honestly, I feel pathetic even typing this. I just needed someone to hear me because this crap hurts in a way I wouldn't wish on anybody. Join us, biddies. We can crap all over people like that. None but Irene says you got to be the one to block her on everything. Don't give her any way to contact you at all, and keep yourself occupied until you're over her, which you will. Just got to thug it out a little. Exactly. Cut Moore says, "Yep. Don't say anything. Just block her and wait for her to get creative and call or text from someone else's phone. She's just toying with you. Leave her alone." Hacketh Apathetica says, "You just got to feel the feels, get the crying out, be sad. But after that, don't go back to her again, no matter what. Let this be the last time she breaks your heart. Good luck. You will feel normal again. You will get past this." Here's what I always say to people when they have bad breakup: wallow. Get some ice cream, get some cookie dough, put on some sad movies. Maybe I should get some recommendations set up for y'all. And wallow. Wallow in your, feel pity for yourself. Feel pitiful. You can do that for the whole weekend, from Friday night to Sunday night. And then Monday, get your butt out of bed, go to work. Do that for the week. See how you feel afterwards. If you need to wallow for another weekend, wallow for another weekend. Then after that, you should start to feel better. If you're not feeling better, you might need some therapy to help you get over the hump. And the longer the relationship, the more weekends you get to wallow. But yeah, it's heartbreaking. It hurts. And you should be allowed to feel it and allowed yourself to feel it. Adrian Elliott is the third top rate comment, and they say block her on everything and start the process of moving on. See you at the gym, bro. Hope he says Roger that. This is from Oh No Consequences, and it is entitled OOP butts into her employee's sex life against advice and is upset that she loses her very well-paying job over it. This was originally are you gonna show me? Come on, usually it shows me. Oh, in r/nannies. It's originally from r/nannies. That's a new one. Actually, it's from Best of Redditor Updates, but it was originally on nannies. Hi, everyone. I'm a full-time nanny for a stay-at-home mom with an 8-month-old baby. The baby is honestly perfect, so sweet, happy, naps great. I've been with the family for about 7 months now, and the mom and dad are both amazing employers. They are super nice to me, and mom gets Starbucks and Asia bowls. Asia, right? And even makes me lunch sometimes. I make $32 an hour with great benefits in a middle cost of living area, so overall this is a dream job. Dang, $32 an hour to watch a baby. Here's my only issue. I'm pretty sure the parents are having sex during the dad's lunch break, maybe every day or every other day. Okay, so let them. That's awesome. Somebody has a good sex life. Good for them. Good for them. Love it. They go to their room and I never see anything appropriate, but sometimes I hear what I think might be the bed moving. It's not loud or anything, just enough to make me realize what's going on. Afterward, her hair is messy, clothes changed, and kind of thing. Maybe they're just taking a nap. Maybe that's their time together, and they're taking a nap for lunch. Today, I asked the mom what she was doing when she came out of the room. She didn't really say much, kind of joking. Oh, were you napping? And she got red and awkward. That, why did you do that? There was no reason for that. I know they're married adults and it's their house, but it still makes me feel a little uncomfortable since I'm there taking care of their baby. They're not being disrespectful or obvious. It just feels weird. Well, if they're not being disrespectful or obvious, then it shouldn't feel weird. I would totally be out of line asking not to do this while I'm working. Or am I overreacting and should just let it go? You're overreacting, like incredibly. They really are such a great family. I don't want to make things awkward. If this was just me being overly sensitive, what would you do? I would leave them on the frick alone. Snoo Tangerines, this is relevant comment. Snoo Tangerine says, you're overreacting. I don't think you should make comments about them and what they're doing behind closed doors. I personally feel you should not ask them to do that. You're overstepping and making it an issue. You said they're not loud or making it obvious. Adults do adult things. OLP says, I'm not, but I'm working. You don't think it's disrespectful to wang someone who's taking care, while someone's taking care of your kids under your roof? No. It's making me uncomfortable. They both go in the bedroom, come out messy hair and smiling. It makes me feel weird. So don't look at them when they come out of the room. Be occupied elsewhere. New philosopher says, I mean, good for them. Many parents end up aiding each other during the baby years. These guys are lucky they can afford a nanny and maintain a healthy sex life. They treat you well, and you can't actually hear anything, so I would not be making things awkward. OOP says it's very awkward. You're the one that's awkward. They both come down smiling and happy and in good mood, like, guys, I know what you just did. You just had sex. Lucy from Kazoo says, hi, Kalamazoo. My Kalamazoo girl. Then quit. OOP says this is a super good paying job. The parents are beyond nice. This is the only flaw. I still think maybe I should mention it, and they'll stop winging during my workday. Dude, do you want to give lessons on how to lose your job? Because this would be one. You're stupid. Like you have a great paying job, easy great paying job. They're not doing anything wrong. You just don't like it. I guess you're entitled to not like it, but do you want your job or do you want to be a little tiny bit uncomfortable that you're causing? Appropriate usual says, why are you this concerned about your uh, NP's lives and their comings and goings in their own home? Read a book, rearrange a diaper holder, literally anything other than making your NPs embarrassed in their own nanny parents. I don't know what NPs are supposed to be in their own house that they own. LP says it's weird because she's so giddy after having sex. Mood shifter, happy. It's odd. Like it puts even more in my face. Oh, I got laid. Okay, people that can be happy about getting laid. OP has added a similar comment. I think it's weird for adults to be having sex every day or every other day. There's other words. Boy, oh my God. Seriously? Get it all you want. Get all you want. Well, you can because life does get in the way after a while. Snoo Tangerine says concentrate on your job, which is the baby, and not what the parents are doing. OOP says the baby is napping at this time usually. Then go take a walk. Fiery Virgo says I personally would feel like they shouldn't be having sex while I'm at work, but I would also say wouldn't say anything. It's their home. I'd feel weird about it too. But because it's their home, your hands are tied. OP says, I guess I shouldn't have said anything. I'm shocked how many people would be fine with them winging while you're at their house. How old is OOP? I'm 28 years old and been a nanny for a decade. This 28-year-old is complaining that other people are having sex every day. Smacks of jealousy to me. Update November 2nd, 2025. The first one was October, so 3 days later. That Friday morning, I told my MB, I don't know what MB is supposed to mean. I assume it's employer. I want to talk about I wanted to talk during the baby's nap, and she said, okay. I brought up how uncomfortable I felt about what I thought was going on and mentioned how I could sometimes hear or notice things that made me think they were having sex while I was there. I told her it made me uncomfortable, and that's when everything went downhill. She was very direct to me. She said my only job is to take care of the baby, not worry about what she and her husband were doing. She told me if I had downtime, I could watch TV or read a book. I told her it just seemed weird that she'd come out with messy hair or different clothes, and she explained that sometimes they do workout videos in their room, and sometimes it's sex, sometimes cuddling, and sometimes just her napping. She said whatever happens in their bedroom is none of my business. She's probably actually hearing them work out, not doing the nasty, as we say. Later, she texted saying that they're going to move in another direction, and that was it. I feel horrible. I know I crossed a boundary. Everybody told you not to, and I regret bringing it up so much. I miss them terribly. The money was amazing. My MB was so kind, and their baby was absolutely perfect. I wish I could fix this and somehow get my job back. How do I get my job back? You don't. Everyone told you what was going to happen, and you stepped in it anyway. Everyone told you what was going to happen. You stepped in it anyway. This is a choice that you made. You have to live with the consequences now. Relevant comments, no assignment says you're allowed to feel disappointed that you messed up, but you need to understand that this was your fault and it's your job to take the consequences. Oh, he says, I regret it now. I'm hoping that they can forgive me. But everything else pays like $22 to $23 and they were giving me $32. And so nice. I'm realizing I messed up. Yeah, and you were told you were. No assignment says you need to get the idea of forgiveness. You need to let the idea of forgiveness go. You're only hurting yourself by hanging on. The job loss is end of story. You will find something new next time. If you love a job so much, don't jeopardize it. OP says, you don't think it's worth a try? They are Christian, believe in God. Christians believe in forgiveness. Glorioski. Some advice OP was given. I'm getting messages saying I should file a police report for sexual harassment at the workplace. That very message, dude, do not do that. I saw that comment and the person is insane. You do not have a case. Also, what do you want here? Either you want your job back or you want them in trouble. You think they'll give you your job back if I call the police on them. They're in their own house. It's not sexual harassment. Final update, November 3rd, 2025. I sent a text message to my MB on Sunday morning. She replied this morning saying she forgives me and that she hopes I take this as a learning experience, but will not hire me back. I don't blame her. I miss her so much. She said she talked to her husband about everything and they decided to give me a month's pay until I find a new job. I honestly didn't expect that. It was really kind of them after everything that happened. I miss my unicorn family so much. I was completely in the wrong and I take full responsibility for that. I know I hurt people who trusted me and that's something I have to live with and learn from. I will not be filing any sexual harassment report. The people who were telling me to do that were not giving me good advice and I will be keeping my distance from them now. I miss my nanny baby so much. I can't believe I won't be going back, and it breaks my heart. They were such a big part of my life, and I keep replaying everything in my head, wondering if there's anything I could say or do to make things right. No, you're an idiot. Accept that. Accept that you're an idiot. I know trust is broken and hard to fix, but I wish I could show them how much I've grown and how truly sorry I am. It's been 3 days, dude. It's been like 3 or 4 days. I'm trying to find a new job now, and honestly, everyone's been so rude. It's been really hard, and I can't believe my old employer still paid me $5,200 after letting me go. That was so generous of them. I really didn't deserve it after everything that happened. To be honest, part of the problem was I was a little jealous of her. She's a stay-at-home mom. Why does a stay-at-home mom need a nanny? Beautiful, only 28, rich, this gorgeous home. And her and her husband are truly happy. She's such a good mom. And I feel like she just had this perfect life and her dream life, and I'm the same age. And I think that made me feel small in ways I didn't even realize at the time. I hate admitting that, but it's true. So, like I said, she was jealous. Now I just feel so lost. I miss them so much. I keep wishing I could go back and do things differently. I know I can't, but I still hope one day I can find a family even half as good as them. I don't know if I should keep reaching out down the road or just accept that it's over and move on. Oh my gosh, dude. Part of me wants to hold on to hope, but part of me knows I need to respect their decision. Any advice on what I can do to get them back, or should I just leave it and start fresh? Please tell me this is AI because nobody repeats themselves that much. I'm really debating and feeling lost about the right thing to do is. Learn from my mistakes, guys. Don't leave a good family. Let everything go. Don't be jealous or pride get in the way of something real. Some things just aren't worth losing the people you care about and appreciate before it's gone. Evan Coates says, I remember this when this first came out. Everyone was saying let it go. Oh, Pete decided to crash the train anyway. It wasn't until that last update that the dim light bulb started to show light up. Maybe it was just jealousy all along. Gamer Girl said, Lex says she was awfully focused on the mom, so jealousy makes sense. Yes. Grimwell says, yeah, comment she admitted that they were the same age and she hated that this woman had kids in a house and a husband who was clearly blowing her socks off. She was jealous and admitted it to them and still didn't get her job back. Two Burke says, it's weird. She's happy after sex. Oh my God, I can't with a hope. Say. Perfect caregiver. It's the second typewriter comment, and she says, OOP's jealousy was so obvious. She could have taken the baby for a walk or out of the house to give them privacy and remove herself from the situation that made her uncomfortable. But no, she had to get entitled and pushy instead. Everything that happened after that was completely predictable. How dare she try to dictate what her employees did in their own home? They sound like they were being considerate too. If all she had to go on was bed sounds, messy hair, and positive improvements, the mood, the horror. Her true crime in the buff says it seems like the fact that the mom enjoyed herself was actually the bigger issue. The OP. Lazy or Garlic says, yeah, it reminds me of the H.M. Mencken quote, Puritanism, the haunting fear that someone somewhere may be happy. For some context, Mencken, besides saying the best contemporary authors were African American, before swiftly taking it back to get loads of angry letters, coward, that he identified with his German heritage and was against prohibition. He also predicted correctly that the nation would never stick it out that long. He did some home repairs on his cellar before it went into effect, and it filled with his favorite libations and didn't even use them up before it was repealed. I think at that point it was more along the lines of imported wine, because he did drink a lot of beer, but it made him fat, so he went on a diet, which he called the water wagon. I think that was just the term at the time, which is why getting sober is called getting on the wagon. That is to say, no more lunchtime beers. Big University says, wait, so that's where the phrase fell off the wagon to mean going back to drinking came from? Fascinating. Yep, that's where it comes from. Third typewriter comment is from Oberoni, and she quotes, I'm getting messages that I should follow or prove support for sexual harassment in the workplace. Redditors often have great advice, but then occasionally you get insane stuff like this. 100%. This is for Mildly Infuriating, and it is entitled, Walmart shipped 165 full noodles in 165 separate boxes. That's insanity. Why, Walmart? Why? Why would you do that? It's a video.
So Walmart sent me one noodle in each box. Every one of those is one noodle. That's the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. Bro, like, what are my neighbors gonna think? You know? Look, we're halfway unloaded. This is insane. And poor Ian, he just happened to be here. Look at him.
Oh my god.
Why?
How much was shipping?
It was free. But how stupid is that? Shipping's free, but you wasted all these boxes, this guy's time, all the fuel, and you sent me how many boxes are in here, bro?
165.
165 boxes.
Even
Just
the
pull it out,
driver's
open
cracking up.
Yeah, there you go. Look at that. Why? What is the point of that?
FedEx guy is dying in more ways
You have
than
to
one.
Scan 165 boxes with one pool noodle each. I hope you get paid by the hour, buddy.
By the piece.
Do you get by the package?
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Nick, the more I think about it, the more I think that just the universe wants me to continue making content. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
Like, why else would this happen?
That is a boatload of boxes.
There's still a whole shelf in that truck. Nick, I hope you get a raise from this.
probably won't, but I appreciate the thought.
Yeah, no problem. I want to know what's in the big one. How many do you think's in there, Nick?
3.
There's one medium box and one big box. We're going to find out how many noodles are in these because all the other ones have one noodle in them. Nick, you can do the honors, buddy. Let's see. If there's one in there, okay. That's pretty good. That's a lot better than I anticipated.
That's how they should have all been done.
Like that.
You would think. This one's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in it. That's pretty good. Do I need a sign for it?
No, I have to go take a picture of it.
Oh, okay. Yes, dude. So all of these, what was it, 165 noodles?
165, yep.
Yeah, right. And that
So you can
is
see where-
165 noodles right there.
you can
That's
see what they're
insane.
supposed to come in.
What am I supposed to do with all this? This is the FedEx photo they're getting, by the way, everybody. This is my 13th reason why. Pretty sure. Well, like, what am I supposed to do with this? For real.
That's awesome. I'll have to show my husband that. He'll appreciate that one. That's funny. Yeah, that would be mildly infuriating and also hilarious at the same time. Clint Cab says, Walmart is famously bad at packaging their online orders. When I used to work at FedEx, the most common shipper I saw was damaged from Walmart, usually because they throw something in an incorrectly sized box with little to no packing material and just sent it. A lot of times, the stuff you get from Walmart is not from Walmart. It's just people on the internet like Etsy and eBay selling and Amazon selling stuff. Be careful what you purchase from Walmart. FedEx driver here as well. They also use that god awful paper tape that rips super easy, and that definitely didn't help. Dear Ad answers that. So does Petco. At least that's what my son says. He works for FedEx too. Crap's always falling out of the boxes. Bing says, oh, we'll call it Bing Bam. It's Bing and then a bunch of consonants and then Bam at the end. Bing Bam says that driver is so happy. I know he was checking his route and was like, one stop. Let me check these boxes. Oh, shit. Yeah. All for one guy and they weigh nothing. Free eats. Never says, this is exactly my thought. I used to be an Amazon driver. I loved it, actually. And once in a blue moon, I get these massive stops. I emptied half my van. It was so satisfying when that would happen because I would instantly have all this movement space. Somebody asked if they got off early, and they say it was rare to go back to the station and get more packages, but if you did, it was still a lighter load. And more of the day was spent driving, listening to music. Most often, I'd get sent up to meet up with another driver who was falling behind and split their route. We call it a rescue because they got stuck in somebody's driveway, probably. Third type commenters, I'm not saying their name because it's not nice. It's not nice and it's mean. Are you sure there isn't a few boxes of 20 Harry Potter plates in there? I'm gonna have to go back one to show that one to my husband. I think he'll enjoy that one. Next, we have Best of Redditor updates, and it is entitled, I, 31 female, had a conversation with my boyfriend, 31 male. At the rose-tinted glasses came off. How can I navigate this? This was originally in relationship advice. It's from June 19th, 2025. Hello, all. I, 31 female, have been with my partner, 31 male, for a year and a half. We love each other. It's been rocky sometimes. I've been through nearly a breakup, but each time we talk it out and believe we'll pull through. If it's that rocky, do you really want to pull through? If it's going to continue like that? The main subject of contention has always been my hobby and subsequent club. The main subject of contention has always been his hobby and subsequent club. He's on the volunteer committee and has meetings every Monday and goes every Wednesday and Thursday, and we already read this. We read this. We don't do relationship advice. How come we already read this? Pretty sure we already read this. We either already read this or I read this elsewhere. Hold on, let me check. I'll start over. Or I read it elsewhere. I mean, that's entirely possible. I don't read relationship advice. I must have read it elsewhere because I don't see it in any of my stuff. Best of Redditor updates. I, 31 female, had a conversation with my boyfriend, 31 male, at the rose-tinted glasses came off. How can I navigate this? I don't remember that title. Maybe I read this on Board Panda. I'm not sure. Some on there too. Dragon Ashes. Originally from Relationship Advice, June 19th, 2025. I, 31 female, have been with my partner, 31 male, for a year and a half. We love each other. It's been through rocky times, and we've nearly been through a breakup, but each time we talk it out and believe we pulled through. The main subject of contention has always been his hobby and subsequent club. He's on a volunteer committee, has meetings every Monday, and goes every Wednesday and Thursday evening, along with some Friday evenings, as well as Saturday and Sunday mornings. That's a lot of club. Are you sure this is not a cult? Because it sounds like a cult. He also spends several weekends way out of the year to do the hobby and uses holiday time for it too. He does admin outside of this and has been in trouble at work for doing said admin during work hours, and has even done admin during our quality time. I mean, my husband has a very intense hobby, but it's nothing like this. He's going to leave for 5 days next week, but that's a once a year thing. He does several weekends in the winter, and then he works on it during the week and comes upstairs about 8, 9 o'clock at night. So it's just fun time. Fun time means watching TV mostly. There have been several incidents in the club, but with him being on the committee, he has spent a lot of time dealing with it, so much so that it affects his mental health poorly. He's even canceled plans and changed date nights with me to prioritize his hobby. He's not into you, huh? This has caused many arguments and conversations which stem from him making a hobby his priority and how he wants me to just slot into his current lifestyle. I'll explain that this couldn't happen, and we have compromised to try and make it work. I believe things had turned a corner, however, something changed today. I'm bisexual. The local Pride Parade is coming up, and I expressed my want to go. We did not make any explicit plans to go together, but he stated if he was available, he would go. He knows how excited I was at this prospect and knows how much this means to me. Okay, he didn't say he would go. He said if he was available, he would go. You know he's not going to be available. Come on. However, he messaged me saying that he was now doing his hobby instead and couldn't go. Shocker. Now he said he was asked to go and asked me if this was okay. I felt like I couldn't say no, as in the past I've said no and been made to feel guilty because I'm stopping him from doing his hobby. I'm not that kind of person. People make choices. That's their decision, not mine. However, I asked him if he ever wanted to go to a private event, and he said, I would have, but my hobby is more important. Then something in me just clicked. This event is important to me. It's something I'm excited about, something I want to do. And the amount of times I've sat and taken him to his hobby, watched, helped, supported him without fail, sometimes without being asked. He doesn't do the same for me because it's not important to him. I feel like he was saying, I'm not interested in the thing you find important because it's not important to me. And by extension, you're not as important as my hobby. That's exactly what he's telling you. You are not important to him, and you are certainly not as important as his hobby. I didn't feel anger or hurt or disappointed. In fact, I didn't feel anything, and that's it. I didn't feel anything for him. No love, no support, no companionship, nothing. Okay, you're already over this relationship, sweetheart. At the times I've given up my time and wants and needs to support him, and yet here I am with something very important with me and nothing. I feel nothing. The option was there. It was a choice. I'm conflicted. I love him. We navigated things before. How can I navigate this further? What advice would you give to someone? Any advice from the strangers of Reddit would be applied. Moose Planner says, sounds like it's not about pride at all. It's not. It's about his hobby. Some people want a girlfriend, but not a relationship. Some people are so afraid of being single, they want a girlfriend for simply the sake of not being single, but they don't want a relationship because that requires work. You want a relationship. He wants a girlfriend. You're an accessory to his life, not a priority. Accessories can easily be replaced. Relationships cannot. I guess this incident finally brought things into focus, but any improvement would require an effort on his part. And he's made it clear that that ain't happening. But even if he was willing to work on things, you'd have to manage it all. You'd be the one telling him exactly what he needs to do and how to prioritize you. And you'd be the one making all the effort. And that is tiring. Find a man or a woman or an NB who wants to make you a priority, who wants actual relationship and doesn't treat you like an accessory. Yeah, because she's bi, she has all the options. She has all the options. Nature's Tomato says he doesn't have a hobby. It's either an obsession or an excuse not to spend time with you. A hobby should not be a full-time job. Well, amen to that. At least you need to have a serious conversation. At best, break up and move on. Expensive Opening says, what kind of club hobby takes more time than a full-time job? You already know your answer. He won't even ever prioritize you or your interests unless you constantly want to take a back seat to his needs and be left alone to pursue your interests. Break up. Find someone who will support you 100% and make you a priority. OOP updated the post the next day. Thank you for all the comments. I'm reading through each one as we speak. I might not reply because I'm still soaking in all the insight. Common questions to those asking what the hobby is. It's a sport and very niche one. So I'm not going to detail what it is because it's not fair on that sport or the people in it. He isn't cheating. I've been with him on weekends and take him to the sport. No, I'm not karma fishing. Thanks, bot accusers. Throw away new account as I posted on my old account. It didn't interact enough. Hence throw away. I honestly don't care for the whole karma thing. I'm seeing him tonight and we'll show him the post. It's sailing. He sails. That's what his hobby is. I know because I've read this. OP updated June 29, 25, 9 days later in the same post. Updating here as I haven't the freaking foggiest on how to do updates. Sorry for not responding to everyone in the comments. I got overwhelmed, honestly. We broke up. Reading your responses and information and questions was super helpful and gave me a slap I needed to get my arson gear and leave. Just going through the motions as you do. Now we're no longer together. The hobby's sailing, winging sailing all the damn time. I'm going to focus on me and go back to being single, bisexual goddess and enjoy Pride Month and people give a crap. Told you it was sailing. I did not see the last two parts of that. I only saw the first part, and the sailing was in somebody's comments. And I think I read it on Board Panda. And I checked those to make sure that I haven't read them, but for Boru, that's not going to work. Contemplationography says, Quotes, the main subject of contention has always been his hobby and subsequent club. He's on the volunteer committee, has meetings every Monday. Once a week is good, and goes every Wednesday. Twice isn't bad. And Thursday evening. You know, this is seeming less like a hobby and more lot, along with some Friday evenings as well as Saturday and Sunday mornings. This person doesn't have a boyfriend. He also spends several weekends away out of the year. They never see each other. Rough Programmer says, at this point, it's safe to say that he loves sailing more than his girlfriend if he ever loved her to begin with. Sunny Rider says, reminds me of the joke, what's pirate's favorite letter? R. Yes, but but his true love is the C. Like C, like in the letter C. Also famous 1960s or 70s songs, Sailor said, Brandy, you're a fine girl, what a good wife you would be. But my love, my life, and my lady is the sea. Made awkwardly referenced. What is this? The second top rate comment is from Splendid Dismiss. Sorry about my singing, it's bad. I enjoyed the progression from big hobby to sport I won't disclose to winging sailing. You can see the wings dwindling. I feel like I'm not surprised it was sailing. It seems like boat people make boats into their identity. He needs to find another boat person. That's what he needs to do. He needs to find a girl that loves boats as much as he does, and they get along great. Peregrine Bullet says they have to justify the hole in the water that they're pouring so much money into. Vaz says money and time, so much damn time. And the less money you have, the more time it takes. My father-in-law had a sailboat, 26-footer or something like that. My wife would go and help with the boat. I went along a few times over the 15 or so years he's had the boat since we've been together. I stopped going because it took all day. Literally every time was all day. All winging day. He didn't have much money, so it took more time. Boats will take your money or your time, and often both. And a lot of people don't realize how much a boat they're really going to take from you. Needless to say, my father-in-law no longer has a boat. Nobody had the time, and he didn't have the money, so he had to accept reality and sell it to some poor sap who will probably go through the same exact process. Books and Beer says, sailing? Magic Shark answers, that seals it as a completely real story to me. Having spent a long time on sailboats for work purposes, boat people never love someone as much as they love the boat. Turnip Worley answers, yeah, I'm reminded of that scene in Friends where Rachel's parents are newly separated, and she has 2 birthday parties at the same time to keep them separately. Her mom goes, you work and work and work and work and work on a relationship, and cuts to the dad complaining, you work and work and work and work on a boat. The ex has the same screwed up priorities. 100%. Next we have Made Me Smile. This is so cute. I love it. It's entitled He's One of the Boys, and it's captioned, Boys include dog in their friendship. It's so cute. Look at the puppy. Look at the little boys and the puppy. They're so cute. Don't let it burn. Don't let it fail. Sure, I'm not being rude, but it's just your attitude. It's telling me. Probably get dinged for the song. That was cute. Just boys and their dog. Boys and their dog. Cute every time. Oh, that's it for me today, guys. I'm gonna go take a nap because I'm tired. Not as tired as I was yesterday, believe it or not, but I'm tired. Yes, I had coffee. It's worn off, clearly. Maybe I need it. Maybe I should have gotten that the orange Sunkist. I like me a good orange drink. And knee-high grape. Thought about buying grape juice, but I think I'm gonna wait till next week. Next Tuesday, I'm gonna want to get out of here and go to the store, but I have plenty of time. Or Wednesday, I mean, I'll have plenty of time. I'll have plenty of time. Oh, the man was supposed to come home late last night. Came home 3 hours early because the county he works for can't get it together, and their mics wouldn't work for their meeting. So the board just passed the whole agenda and let everyone go home, rather than having to explain why they need money for their departments. So I guess he got his approved. Can't remember what it was for, or if it was his yearly budget or what. So yeah, that was fun. He's like, I guess I'm coming home. Okay, do you need food? I gave him 2 choices and he chose a third thing. Just like a little kid. Just like a 2-year-old. Oh, all right, biddies. I will see you probably tomorrow, to be honest. I will get on. I'm not going to promise anything. Maybe tomorrow, definitely Tuesday. I will definitely be back on Tuesday. And honestly, I have all the time in the world next week. The weather's supposed to be gorgeous, so I'll actually have opportunity to clean the house without sweating like a pig. All right, I love you all. Have a good weekend if I don't see you. If I do see you, have a good night. Take care all. Love you all. Bye, biddies. Bye.